Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Sitti Saum Sayidaturrahmah. My official number is A1M218027. So, in this time, I will explain about signification in semiotics material. Semiotics is closely related to the field of linguistics, which is mainly concerned with the structure and meaning of language. Broadly speaking, semiotics are classified into three basic concepts. The first one is semiotic pragmatic, the second one is semiotic synthetic, and the last one is semiotic semantic. Semiotics had two big fathers who had a big influence, namely Ferdinand de Saussure and Charles Sanders Peirce. According to Saussure, semiotic is the general science of science, a science that examines the life of science in society. While Peirce defines semiotic, it is just another name for logic, namely the formal doctrine of science. In its development, semiotics were divided into two types, namely communication semiotics and signification semiotics. Communication semiotics emphasizes the theory of science productions. One of it assumes the existence of six factors in communication, namely the sender, the receiver of the code, the message, the communication channel, and the thing being discussed. Meanwhile, signification semiotics emphasize the theory of science and their understanding in a particular context. In this second type, there is no question about the purpose of communicating. The cognition process at the recipient of the sign is more concerned than the communication process. Talking about signification, sign is something that represents something. The process of representing it occurs when the sign is interpreted in relation to what it represents. This process is called semiosis. Semiosis is a process in which a sign serves as a representative of what it marks. The process of semiosis is often referred to as signification. Peirce has revealed three main semiotic elements, namely sign, object, and interpretant. These are referred to by Peirce as the triangle of meaning theory. A sign is something that has a physical form that can be captured by the human sense and represents something other than the sign itself. So that the problem is how the meaning arises from a sign when the sign is used by people when communicating. The relationship between these three elements is described by Peirce as follows. The most important thing in the semiosis process is how meaning comes from a sign when the sign is used by people when communicating. When the three elements of meaning interact in a person's mind, then the meaning of something that is represented by the signs will emerge. For example, when the girl wears miniskirts, the girl is communicating about herself to other people who might interpret it as a symbol of sexiness. Next, according to Saussure, putting a sign in the context of human communication by making a choice between what is called a signifier and a signified. Signifiers are sounds or scribbles, namely what is said, written, and read. Meanwhile, signified is a mental picture of language. Besides, objects to Saussure are called referents. In short, sounds and picture are called signifier, and the concept of sounds and image are called signified. Saussure describes a sign consisting of a signifier and signified as follows. From the whole explanation, we can conclude that the semiotic of signification, which includes both non-human and non-intentional signs, as seen in the foregoing, is derived from pre-semiotic notions. Saussure only explained sign as a concept and weird psychological realities. Furthermore, Saussure emphasized that a sign is something related to a person's mental activity when receiving a marker. Therefore, implicitly, a sign in Saussure's views can be understood as a communication tool used between two people who intentionally communicate or express something. I think that's all. Thank you very much for your attention. And I close by saying wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.